There's this conversation that keeps happening online, especially in African spaces. And every single time it happens, people act like they're talking about corruption, but they're actually talking about aesthetics. Because the second corruption comes up, suddenly everybody starts talking about soft life, slave queens, Dubai trips, luxury apartments, influencers, girls in brunch restaurants, girls with iPhones, girls in clubs, girls in wigs, girls existing visibly with money around them. And I always find that interesting because somehow corruption, an issue involving governments, corporations, billionaires, political systems, colonial economics, institutional failure, elite protection networks, gets reduced to women taking pictures in restaurants. That disconnect fascinates me, and I think it reveals something deeper about how modern culture understands wealth, morality, and visibility. Now, before someone types, oh, so now we can't criticize slave queens. This is not what I'm saying, but I do think people use the term slave queen in ways that are incredibly revealing. Okay, so I know you might be wondering what even is a slave queen. The term changes depending on who is angry that day. Sometimes it means influencer, other times it can mean it's a beautiful woman. Some people think it means a woman with a rich boyfriend, or a woman visibly with luxury, or just literally a woman who thinks she's too visible online. And that's why the term is interesting to me, because it's not really a stable category, it's more like a projection of class anxiety, gender anxiety, economic frustration, and resentment towards visible aspiration. And honestly, that makes sense.
Slave queens come from poverty. It's a survival thing. And then it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a thing.
Do anything for the bag.
It is centered around the culture and the lifestyle around slave queens.
Because we're living in economies where life feels increasingly impossible for normal people. Like, guys, rent is insane, jobs are unstable, everything is so effing expensive, people are so exhausted. And I think people underestimate how psychologically exhausting modern economic life has become, especially for young people. You go online and every single day, someone your age is in Santorini, another person is in Dubai. People are going, like, getting flown anywhere in the world. Somebody is doing day in my life as a luxury content creator. Somebody is posting a fully furnished apartment at 22 years old. Someone else is unboxing designer bags while they're trying to figure out transport money. And after a while, aspiration starts mutating into resentment. Not because people are naturally hateful, get me right, guys, but because constant exposure to curated success changes the emotional atmosphere of society, especially when people feel economically trapped. So, when someone online appears to be living softly in the middle of collective economic stress, people react emotionally. But here's the contradiction nobody wants to talk about. The same society that criticizes, and I quote, slave queen culture is completely obsessed with the aesthetic associated with it. Luxury is aspirational. Softness is aspirational. Hence, soft life, LOL. Beauty is aspirational. That's why so many people are undergoing the plastic surgery route. Access is aspirational. Everyone is online, basically. Everyone claims to hate performative wealth while consuming content built entirely around performative wealth. I think it's really ironic. And honestly, social media has made this contradiction much worse because platforms like Instagram and TikTok do not reward honesty, they reward visibility. The algorithm does not care whether your lifestyle is ethical, sustainable, or even real. It cares where people are looking at it, which means the internet quietly trains people to optimize themselves for attention. Not depth, not honesty, not complexity. Attention. And attention is visual. That changes culture more than people realize. Because once attention becomes the dominant currency online, aesthetics become power. Now suddenly, looking rich matters more than financial literacy. Looking successful matters more than stability. Looking happy matters more than emotional health. Looking desirable matters more than authenticity. And I think this is where the corruption conversation becomes culturally interesting. Because corruption is not just stealing money. People always reduce corruption to politicians stealing taxes, government scandals, billions missing, court cases. But corruption is actually much larger than that. Corruption is a culture where appearance matters more than accountability, where access matters more than merit, where connections matter more than competence, where visibility creates legitimacy. And if we're being honest, that logic exists everywhere now, not just in politics, in influencer culture, in celebrity culture, in networking culture, in dating culture, even in corporate culture. Everybody is performing success. And social media normalizes performance to such an extent that people barely recognize it anymore. We are constantly curating ourselves now. Our personalities, our relationships, our politics, our lifestyle, even our suffering becomes aesthetic online. And that is why the slay queen conversation fascinates me so much, because underneath of the insults and the memes and judgment, what people are actually reacting to is performance, visible performance, hence the performative culture. And when we hear the phrase slay queen culture, what they're usually describing is a combination of three things. The first one, let's talk about aesthetic performance. This is the constant presentation of beauty, desirability, femininity, fashion, and curated identity online. Second, luxury signaling, showing association with expensive spaces, expensive lifestyles, expensive people. Third, status performance, building identity around appearing successful, important, desired, and elevated. And honestly, this is not unique to women. Men do this constantly. Crypto bros do it. Podcast masculinity influencers do it, hence the manosphere. Fake entrepreneurs do it. Political elites do it. Corporate executives do it. They are literally men online renting Lamborghinis for photo shoots. The men asking fake CEO routine videos from Airbnbs they don't even own. The men selling $1 million mindset courses while living off course sales from people actually desperate for escape. Performance is not gendered, but women become the face of the conversation because society is more comfortable with women displaying visible aspiration. That's the part people avoid discussing. Because a man driving a luxury car is often interpreted as ambitious. A woman in the same car becomes a mystery. People feel entitled to investigate. People immediately start asking, who bought it? What does she actually do? Where is the money coming from? Why is she not married? Why does she not have kids? And sometimes those questions are fair. But what fascinates me is how selectively society applies suspicion. Because we rarely interrogate wealthy aesthetics consistently, people criticize influencers while worshipping politicians with convoys. People attack women on Instagram while defending obviously corrupt elites because at least he's helping the community, that's what they say. People claim to hate corruption while admiring the black aesthetics corruption produces. That contradiction is deeply cultural. And honestly, I think part of the reason this conversation becomes so emotionally charged is because modern society has collapsed morality into aesthetics. We increasingly assume that if something looks good, it must be good. If somebody looks successful, we assume they deserve success. If someone looks wealthy, we assume they are intelligent. If someone looks influential, we assume they are important. Image has become emotional evidence, and society accelerated this at a terrifying rate through social media. People no longer want to be successful, they want to look successful, which sounds similar because it's actually completely different. Looking successful is visual, being successful is structural. Looking successful requires aesthetics, being successful requires systems. Looking successful can be rented, being successful usually cannot. And once society becomes obsessed with aesthetics, corruption becomes easier to normalize emotionally. Because people stop asking, how was this built? They only ask, How can I get that one? Who gets to access luxuries? Who gets judged for displaying it? Who gets protected? Who gets investigated? Who gets admired? And who gets punished socially for wanting more? Because underneath all of this is a deeper societal fear. What happens to a culture where performance becomes more important than integrity? Because I think we're already seeing the answer. Politics becomes spectacle, success becomes branding, morality becomes aesthetics, and corruption stops needing to hide. It just looks normal, aspirational even.
Okay, hustle culture is killing your creativity. Everyone on social media is yelling at you. Do more, post more, be more. It is exhausting. Here's the truth. You are already enough. You're unique. You're one in a billion. Never in this lifetime you'll have a combination of your talent, your personality, your creativity. There will be never anyone like you in this world again. Creativity doesn't have to come from hustle. It comes from you. So go create your own way.
And that's the real issue nobody wants to confront. But a culture increasingly trained to admire the exact aesthetics corruption produces is very dangerous.